I was just operating out of survival mode. And I was just gonna wear myself out. Like, at the end of the day, yes, grinding, hustle is all good, but also resting is also needed. Praying is also needed. Taking a minute, step back, like, wait a minute, analyze what's going on.
Welcome to the Let's Excel Show, a platform for our people where we strive to excel. I'm your host, Excel Lopez, and I'm here with a very special guest with my homegirl, Ceci. What's up, hun? What's up going on, gang?
How are you?
How you doing? Good.
Thank you for having me.
I see
again.
you. Nails is flea.
Hey.
There you go. We're out here. It's a dope day. It's a beautiful day out there. What's going on with you? How's everything?
It's just going pretty well. Can't complain. I can never complain.
Right? Because what's complaining gonna do for you?
Nothing.
Solution-based people don't fucking complain. They go, how am I gonna fix this bullshit?
Definitely.
Right? There you go. Cheers to that. Right.
Cheers.
Here. Yo, man, dope. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about your background, like where you from, upbringing.
All right. A little bit. I'm just gonna give you
just a little bit. Come on, we're all about you.
So I grew up in Washington Heights. My parents are immigrants. They're from DR as well. Mm-hmm. Half of my life, I feel like I spent it in Washington Heights, and then the other half in Brooklyn. So I kind of learned both worlds and both neighborhoods and stuff like that. So as I grow older, I understood that I had to always work. Having like a hardworking father and mom, that was always instilled in me, like hard work is the way to go. And so I was in real estate for about 5 years. And now I'm a business coach. And now I just teach the fundamental of business to small business owners.
Now that's dope. Like, cause I remember when we were, like you were talking about hard work. So that I learned now doing this. Like that, I go, like, now that
like, what's going on?
Yeah. Before it's like, I guess it was hard for me to work. Like, not really hard for me to work for other people. Cause like I put in the work in for people. Yeah. But when it's yours, it's a different feeling. It's so different. And
the emotion is different for sure.
It's so, it's gratifying. Mm-hmm. It feels good. Like, I'm becoming less lazy. That's definitely a little toxic trait, the laziness. But other than that, I'm happy, like, because it's getting me out of that comfort zone, and then it's pushing me to try to be better and stuff.
That's amazing.
So so I'm happy about that. So you talking about hard work, and I'm like, needs that. Being Dominican, dope as fuck too, right?
We already know the hard work is in you.
Yo, it's for real, you gotta tap in, right? That's what's up. And happy Dominican Mommy's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Yes, for sure. So, like you said, growing up Brooklyn, growing up in the Heights, must have been tough because, New York is tough.
Yeah.
So
we're a different breed.
That's what I'm saying. We built different.
We are. Definitely.
We built different. So like, how did you, cause, you went to real estate. I don't know the type of level of success you had in there. Like, what type of level of success did you have in real estate?
So real estate, what I was doing was like wholesaling. So we were just acquiring properties and selling it to an investor, and then we just get a profit in between. It's really like wholesaling, but we just wholesaling the contract over. And the successful part that I instilled and I took from that experience is just mainly like all of the knowledge that I, grasped during those years, and building a team from the bottom up. At the end of the day, we build the team from, starting the business to bringing it to a different phase, and seeing that success story for my friend, especially because she still has that same wholesaling company. Mm-hmm. Seeing the success on like, damn, we did that, and she's still, running it, and she's gonna make it as well.
Shout out to that for sure.
Ashley, definitely in prime cash offer.
We out here, Ashley. Good job, girl. Wherever you are.
But seeing that, and all of us being, Hispanic and Black, and, also coming from the trenches, and seeing that success story of like, damn, this shit is possible for us, it's possible for anybody else. And yeah, the knowledge that I could never really repay that back. All of the experience that I learned. Now I'm like, as a business coach, I'm like, okay, I'm not running this shit from the bottom. Now I understand like how to run the business. I understand how do I have to run my business based on the experience that we learned together
and all the knowledge that you gained
and the knowledge
also.
that I create. And man, all of those hard work, sleepless nights, everything. Like I can see that now. How it was needed. Nothing was by mistake.
For sure, it's great when you when you learn from gaining knowledge from other people
Right.
that you're learning from, or like gaining knowledge from like a mistake or
The experience
the lesson
part.
learned.
There's no other way to honestly. There's two type of ways to learn, and is really going through it and like other people's mistake, but really like you're gonna instill those experience. You're gonna instill those information. It's like, fuck, I messed up. Now I know not to do it again. People see failure as a negative thing, but if you see it as a positive, like, okay, what lesson did I get from this situation at this moment? There's a reason why God is putting you in that situation at the moment. And once you understand that everything is for a reason, you see your life excel.
Yo,
hey.
Bars. Okay, we was talking about people having a rap in between. You got some shit for us?
I think I got that for you.
Oh shit! All right. Let's see. I'll just write the hook, I guess. Because I'm gonna let everybody else's talents just go out there and marinate on themselves. Like, damn. All right, we out here. That's dope. So like, so when did you feel like the transition when you went from the real estate? Because I remember back then when you first kind of learned about streamlining businesses and stuff and like making it optimal at its best, at its peak and whatnot.
Yeah.
I remember your company was hiring. Culture. Yeah. No, not your company per se, Prime, but Prime. the company that you was working with at the time, that they were hiring a coach. Yes, to like streamline. Yes. So was the person that kind of like springboarded you to think ahead about how to do good things for businesses and teach things?
Yes. And I say that very proudly because I feel like I'm very grateful that I went through that opportunity to learn about business and business consulting and understand like what is the transition, what are the phases in business, because as a minority, we don't have the opportunity or education to learn that unless you go to obviously Harvard or something, because they're not even in business school do that. I was going to Berkeley College for a business administration, and I was learning about business, but I was learning the history of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Like I get it, but until you experience business, until you experience the trials and error that you're in, you're not gonna get the same message, the same lesson that you got. And we were like 3 years in before we actually invested into a business consultant. And she's like, now as a business owner, I understand her transition and her experiences as a business owner, because at the end of the day, I was working with her and I was working for the company, but I was never in her position. You know what I mean? And now I am, and I'm like, damn, like, I'm so thankful that she took the leap of faith. And I'm so thankful that she went ahead and hired a business consultant so we can all get the same amount of knowledge together. Like, okay, now how can we grow from here? Like, how can we actually like take this to the next level? Because we already knew how to make money. That's not the hard part. Is maintaining, is keeping that money, is keeping that flowing, the return on investment in order to continue investing. So I'm grateful for him, and I still be in touch with him because he gave me an opportunity that I didn't see at that moment until I am sitting where I'm at right now. And I'm like, holy crap, like I'm a coach for a reason. I'm a coach to teach this information to our minorities, to our own people, because at the end of the day, everyone has and wants to be an entrepreneur. They want to be in business, but what happens after? Like, what happens after a few years? They're like, yo, I'm in this, but I don't know what's the next. Once you get that tools and resources that take you to the next level, you can maneuver different. You can pivot. Like, you understand, like, okay, I got to do this different because of the situation that I'm in. So it's just like, instead of like wasting, not wasting, I don't ever want to say wasting, spending 3, 6, 7 years in the same stage in business, you're able to grasp this information and apply it as you go, but you're aware of it. You know, when you're not aware of something, you don't make any changes in your personal and in business.
Not yet. So, as Matt eloquently put, because I was like, yeah, your boss got you here. Yeah. Talking shit right now with me, because you know that expertise is needed, you know. So they put that in there, and then that puts you in here. So like that's fucking dope. Like how that, like, you know,
right,
that flow, fucking So, because I've always, like, when I first had met you through my friend and shit, like I'm like that hard working mentality stuff was like, I seen it, like you was working during your kid's party and shit. Like I remember that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, yo, you was out there, like, because you was checking like about, like, you know, the incomes around the neighborhood, and like,
I was always like,
you was
doing
on
something.
it. You was on it. Yeah. So where was I going with that? So like, how did like so then you already seen, like, you know, what did you teach yourself, like, about how, you know, the way you was moving compared to like now, like looking back at that Ceci, you know? Because you was working, you doing hours on hours on hours.
Yeah, I was on survival mode. I was definitely on survival mode. And coming from, you know, an Hispanic culture, and coming from a place, when you're talking about that situation, I was really not I was probably going to therapy. I'm a little bit self-aware because I've been doing self-development as my journey of in real estate as well. So I was doing both, but at the same time, I didn't realize how I was just operating out of survival mode. And I was just going to wear myself out. Like, you know, at the end of the day, yes, grinding, hustle is all good, but also resting is also needed. You know, praying is also needed. Taking a minute, step back, like, wait a minute, analyze what's going on. Like, because if not, you keep yourself in the same behavior, you're not able to break it.
Yeah, so you stay in that rat race.
I was in that rat race without seeing it, because people were just like, you know, especially when you're in business, you got to grind it out. You got to grind it out. Yeah, you could grind it out, but it depends on the perspective that you're seeing it from. If you're on survival mode, you're gonna stay there,
grinding,
and you're gonna work yourself out. You know,
because like how, like, you're not learning anything if it's perpetual. It's staying in the same. You're staying in the same circle, same thing, and it becomes a little kind of like
repetitive.
Not only repetitive, it kind of like takes away some, like, your energy. Like, it becomes like kind of like soulless a little bit.
Yes, that is so true.
You know, because it's you're doing all these things, like you're doing all these great things, but these great things are not like coming to fruition because you're not applying it in a different way. You know, and you're not prioritizing yourself. So I'm happy that you did that for yourself, man.
Thank you.
There you go. And when did that self-awareness come about? Like,
so there's not, like,
everybody has a certain,
like, I have my own. It's not like an actual moment, right?
Okay.
Because we as human beings, we just trying to figure out like what works for us and what doesn't, right? And at the end of the day, like, I can probably master it or be aware of like an area of my life that is needed at that moment. Like, if I'm going through a situation and it's like, okay, what area of my life is this the situation in? What lesson am I getting out of it? And like, okay, I'm able to find a root. Because the thing is that we don't change our behavior until we figure out where that behavior came from. Every behavior came from a trauma. Every behavior came from an experience that happened to us in the past. So it could be a negative behavior or it could be a positive behavior, right? If you're stuck in the same situation and you're trying to figure out, sometimes when we're in the situation, you're not able to see what's the problem. When you dig in and you're like, I got to go through these emotions, I got to figure it out and break it, then you're able to see, holy crap. So the self-awareness came with everything. There's levels. There's like levels. The more aware that you are, the more changes you can make into your life. You can make, you know, as anything. So for example, when I was in business, when I was in real estate, I'm like, all right, my son telling me that I'm working, like, it's 7:00 and I'm still sitting in the computer, was a self-realization for me. Like, what am I who am I doing this for if I'm not spending no time with him?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like now I got to figure out what's going on. So at that moment, it's like I'm on survival mode. You know, the business,
Yeah.
the life coach came in and it's like, holy crap. Like she was like, girl, you know what I mean? It's because of the way that I was like thinking like, or I was programmed honestly. And it's just like, okay, that was an experience of self-awareness there. And just like, you know, in everything that we do, we figure out like finance, you know, why am I running my finance this way? There's a reason for that. Like figuring out the root of that. My beliefs about money, my beliefs about everything else comes in play. And I'm able to break that now because I'm like, okay, I did a self-check. Like there's a reason why. Let me dive in. But when you're like too much life takes it doesn't stop for nobody. Time doesn't stop for nobody. So when we run our lives like that without stopping, without taking a minute to actually rationalize, wait a minute, what's going on? You just keep driving with no destination.
Yo, you just without a GPS, none of
Yeah.
that shit. I hear it. So then when you so how did that make you feel when that coach was telling you like, yo, what's going on? Like, yo,
It was a shock.
wilding. Like,
It was a shock. It was a shock because it's like someone, she doesn't even know me from the hole in the wall. So, and she's telling me about me, right? So it's like a lot of people don't really want to face themselves because they don't want to hear the truth. And that's why when someone that loves you tells you the truth in your face, is defensive. You got defense mode. Like, you're not going to tell me this about me. But when someone that doesn't know you tells you the truth in your face, it's like,
fuck.
I can't even be defensive. I just got to go through the emotion and eat it. Like, okay, now I can go ahead. And she told me, it's like she sees the bigger picture, and since I'm in the picture, I'm not able to see the bigger picture. Like, that makes sense.
Back. Yeah, you can't take that step back.
And then that's what the beauty of as a coach, as in business, right? Because now when you're working in the business, you can't see everything that's happening. When you telling me about your issues in business, and it's like, okay, now I can, you can pivot this way based on the situations that you're going through, and you're not seeing it, which is the beautiful part. When I'm like coaching, it's like, holy crap, I didn't even know I needed this. Holy crap, I didn't even know I was in this situation, because we're like in it, and that goes with our personal life, where we're too much in it. Like, we don't take a step back to realize everything. Then it's just like, oh, okay. So she did that for me. And ever since, like, it just locking a new level of like self-awareness. That was one moment. And the more I continue working in all areas of my life, which is like spirituality, relationship, everything else, finance, career. I'm like, okay, what is this moment teaching me right now in my career? What is this teaching me? I gotta, work on my relationship. Which relationship? Because everything needs work. And we don't put that 50-50. We don't put none of that, because the other person's perspective. But when you realize, like, damn, like, I always talk about it now because she's my sister, but I knew I knew that relationship needed work. I didn't know how it was gonna work, but I left that up to God. But I knew, like, the more I pour into it, the more it will grow some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Because we're like that. We're just energy. So we understand, like, I'm going to bring in positive energy, and it's going to be instilled back.
Yeah. It's like you get out what you put in.
Right.
So no, that's dope. I don't know if you want to elaborate a little more on like the relationships that like needed cultivating, what had to happen, like what had to.
Which relationship?
Any relationship you speak or you want.
Now I'm like, which one?
I was like, the ones you got beef with. The ones you squashed. Nah, go ahead.
The one I squashed, with my sister.
There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, I always talk about that relationship because it was maturity between both of us. It's not like I put in the work and she didn't put in the work. She put the same amount of work. So somehow she just didn't, until we communicated. It's like, oh, okay. Ever since we were younger, like every time we was younger, we used to fight a lot, like all the time. And we're only 1 year apart. So I'm like, yo, like, why we can't see eye to eye? We can never see, like, she doesn't see what I'm doing. for her, and she has the same narrative in her head. She doesn't see what I'm doing for her.
Yeah.
So we always gonna play the defense mode, like, no, like, you know what I mean? Because you're not seeing what I bring to the table. And she's like, you can't see what I bring to the table. So there was like this moment, our last argument was a few months ago. And when we sat down and realized like why we were arguing, and I heard her perspective and she heard my perspective, it was like, wow. Like, her perspective obviously is like, you know, you're not seeing what I'm doing positively. Like, you're only seeing it from the negative perspective. And obviously, and me as a sister, and I'm looking at it from the negative perspective, right? Oh, like what I do for you, blah, blah, blah. And everyone wants the same level of attention. That's who we are. As a kid, we want that attention. And as we get older, we want that attention. Understanding how to control that and understanding the other person's perspective.
Attention and like respect as well. You know, you
want respect too.
Yeah, because you want to be able to respect.
Yeah.
Have like, you know, any family member or your sister like respect your feelings, and also vice versa, respect theirs.
So and then we're not seeing. I'm not seeing her perspective, and I'm only seeing mine.
Yes.
Communication plays a big part. Because communication for us is not the norm, because my parents didn't know how to communicate. So we didn't know how to communicate. It just, you know, it just keeps going until you are able to change the transition, change the narrative from being in the same cycle to breaking that generation to generational wealth, right? Not only for the future, is also for the people from the past, like from your parents, because now they can see that it's possible. Now they can see that like you can change that. So once our relationship has been switching, because we were able to sit down and it's like, listen, like this is what I go through. This is what I feel. And she told me how she felt. And it's like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that. And it was like an eye opener for the both of us. It's like, okay, from here now we can grow. Because now we are able to have communication. We are comfortable. Like, Nelly, I don't like how that made me feel. And she's vice versa. So I'm giving her the space and she's giving me the space to communicate, and we're not defensive.
Like, yeah, and then like you're not blocking each other's words out and stuff. Because
now we're listening to each other. It's like, oh, okay, I got it. Because at the end of the day, like, we learn through experience. So I told her, like, I don't know what it is to be a younger child. I don't know what emotional thing she went through in life. And she doesn't know what being a middle child is. Like, she never experienced it. So I'm seeing life through a different lens than she is. So that was like, holy shit. So she was like, you don't know what it is to be a younger child. You don't know what it is, because, you know, at the end of the day, like, she was giving me different situations on our lives. And I'm like, I didn't even see that. I didn't know. And I was like, as a middle child, you don't know. Like, you know.
Yo, I hear that. Yo, being the second child is awesome in my eyes. I was like, this shit fucking feels amazing. But that's why,
like, we can build that. We had similar experience based on being the middle child. You get what I'm saying? So for her, it's like, it's crazy, because we have cousins that are like the same thing. Like, they have a younger child, like the younger child and the oldest or the middle. I connect with, you know, my oldest or the middle child cousin, and she connects with the younger, because they have similar experience. They know what it is to be the younger child. And I'm like, you know, they have a connection. That's great. Like, as long as you guys connect some way, somehow, in order to communicate, that's what matters.
Yeah, because the communication is key. Like, it's because I always like look at like old cliches, right? You know, and I see like people go, that shit is corny, you know, it's just, and I just keep, you know, communication is key. I go, you know, came up with those pens, yo, shout out to the people that made those pens for me. And it taught me, you know, it taught me a lot of things, because like, you hear about, you know, the pen's mightier than the sword. You know, all these things are just, they matter, because, you know, what you write down, like if it's a law, if it's a goal, an achievement, or like, you know, how you're feeling and stuff, that matters.
Yes.
You know, anything that you write down is key. Or if you're learning something, you jotting that down, we need that. You need that. You need to keep track of that.
Yes.
You know, because a sword is just for fighting. Like, that's the last resort. You know, the communication, the talking, the writing, the thoughts, all that stuff is the thing that, like, that's where you build from.
You're right.
Know?
You're right.
So, with all that being said about, you know, family dynamics and stuff, like what kind of new things, because you're a mom and stuff, shout out CJ.
My
little man out here dogging people in basketball. I love it. I love seeing it. What kind of things you try to instill in him with your parenting, from the stuff that the good things that you took from parenting, and the things that you try to like switch out that you just trying to get out of it?
So the biggest thing is communication. I feel like that's not done much in our culture, and it's because, just like, in my opinion, you gotta say your opinion. In my opinion, it's because we have this level of like authority, and we say like, no, I'm the parent. No, I'm the parent. So, that's like already like limiting the kids. Like, oh, damn. So I can't speak up because you're the parent. You know what I mean? Not giving him the opportunity to express himself. With CJ, I feel like I expressed myself and he expressed himself. And he's going to understand all of the hardship that I went through, because the life dynamic is not going to change for him neither. So I know when he gets older and he goes through experience life, the main thing I tell my son is like, every choice you make has consequences. Either it's good or bad, it still has a consequence. So in our culture, consequences seem like a bad thing, when in reality, it's just a fact. There's two things. There's two choices.
Two outcomes.
Bad or good.
Sorry.
I keep telling him that, like, bad or good, there's always going to be a consequences. So whatever choice you make, and when he goes through those sort of choices, I'm going to be able to let him express himself. I want him to feel comfortable coming to me like, hey, mom, like, what can I do, or what should I do in this situation? I'm like, those are the choices you make. I'm not judging you because I went through some shit. Yeah. But when we don't relate our lives with like our family members, or like as a parent, you're like, I don't like putting it like this. I kind of understand my mom now as a mom. But besides that, like, I just started to know who my mom is, because when she's going through life at the age that I had, when I'm like 5, 6, 7, she going through her hardship, but I didn't know about it. As a mom, your goal is to not for them to feel that. Yeah. But going through those emotions makes with your kid is like, okay, baby, like this is life. This is how as an adult I have to handle this thing. And I journal a lot, and I write to my son so he can understand, like, this is the hardship I went through, and this is the outcome, and it's always going to be beautiful. But to understand that through every storm, there's always going to be a brighter side. Through every dark situation, there's always light. So I teach him those things, those lessons. It's like, okay, communication. You got to understand that I'm not perfect. I don't want him to put me in a pedestal. I don't want him to communicate our emotions. And that's something that it was,
I hear that. That's dope. Like that's that's insightful, because you gotta let them know that, like, it's not like, just a you thing. Like, there's a me thing here too, like a component, because you're trying to grow yourself while you're trying to nurture him up. So, he's not seeing that. He's just saying like, mom, like, you got to do this for me. You got to
want your attention.
The attention. I'm like, yo, dog, I got to do stuff for me. So speaking of that, we're going to actually leave on that, because I actually want to know, like, because as a parent, parents, they always give 110% to their kids. Yeah. What kind of stuff, but you can't though, you got to like,
What do you mean?
Like we'll talk about it in the next segment. Okay. And the next segment of the Let's Excel show. Keep it locked.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? If you haven't subscribed to us yet, you're wildin'. If you're listening to us, streaming us, and you still haven't hit follow, you're bugging. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. All that stuff you do for us, we fuck with you. Thank you. Love. Peace. Let's excel.
So guys, we're back at it in the Let's Excel show again. Excel Lopez are out here with Ceci out here dropping knowledge on it, because I'm here like, she's she elevates businesses, and I'm here like, you gotta help me with mine, girl.
I told you I got you.
You got me, which is, I appreciate it. So we left off on how do you, like, as a parent, how do you give yourself time to, like, your me time and stuff, because I've seen everywhere. Parents just go 110% about their kids, and as awesome as that is, you want your best for your kid. You can't do anything for your kid if you're not prioritizing yourself as well.
I agree.
So you need to be able to like be mindful of like, because you got to be great for your child. Your kid can't just see you being all washed up and all fucked up and stuff, and they're like, living glamorous.
It's an energy, like, and I pray for like parents. I pray for parents all the time because this role is not easy. This role, the mom guilt, the mom, like, even for dads, honestly, I'm not gonna sit here and just say for one perspective, because I'm able to prioritize myself because my son's father is present in his life, and at least he has the opportunity to have both parents present. So, on weekends he has them, and as everything, I always say thank you, and I always appreciate that he is present in his life, because that is important.
For sure. What kind of things do you do to like, prioritize yourself? Like what kind of like things like you do? So, like you work out, like
I meditate, I go to the gym. And that's even on weekdays, waking up at 4:45 in the morning.
Yuck. Jesus. I've been waking up at 3. So like right now, like I'm like in your same boat and I don't like it. I don't like this boat. I hate this ride.
Why?
Cause I'm up at 3 in the morning.
What are you doing at 3 in the morning is a question.
Waking up.
To go to work?
No. Just I've been going to sleep early, like at 10, okay. Early. And then 10 to 3. And I'm here like, yo, yeah, people say you could like do things with 5 hours. I go, I can't go to the park at 3 a.m. and stuff.
Yeah.
A lo loco.
I mean,
so I struggle for like an hour and a half.
I do see myself waking up at like 3:30 in the morning and, doing that. Because now I wake up at 4:45, going to the gym by 5:30. My goal is to wake up at 4:30 to meditate, journal, and pray, and then go to the gym. And then once I come back, that's when my chaos comes in, waking up my son's, getting him ready for school. And that's how my day goes.
I hear it. So then when you meditate, like what space do you go to? Because like I want to learn about meditation in a little better light for myself and stuff. It's hard.
It's challenging.
It's hard.
It's challenging because of the perception we have of it. Like you just got to stay there and still. Like, so a lot of people, that's a hard thing to do, to stay still. And, our mind, our thoughts is wandering. It's like, how the hell you shut it up? How the hell this? But the more we control our breath, we're able to slow down our thinking, slow down our mind, and just like, okay, now I can do that. But it takes the breath work. It takes time. I've been meditating, on and off for about 3 years now. During the pandemic was more like I needed some type of sanity.
Yeah.
It was just me and my son at home, and I was like, oh Jesus Christ, help me.
You got nice at Roblox, right?
Oh my God.
Like that's what you learned.
Roblox
right?
was driving me nuts.
I hear it.
It was just me and him, and I'm grateful for the pandemic. Honestly, we can see it negative and positive, but it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about how to stay still. I learned a lot about communication based on the situations that I was in. And I'm thankful for those situations, because that's when I really instilled meditation. It's like, okay, I'm spending more time with myself. I need to do something than just being on social media, because social media at that moment was going to drive you crazy. As much as people try to make it fun, like also the news and all that stuff was a lot. So my meditation journey kind of started mostly then. And it's a working process like anything else. But that is a behavior that I want to instill, because that's a good habit to have.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. Also, like you always talk about leadership, instilling leadership into your son, like, keep them like as like, be somebody that leads people win. And sometimes, and like also learning how to lead is a thing too, like being able to listen to other people when you don't know some shit.
Yeah. Staying humble, guys. Staying humble. Stay humble.
Be able to just take that shit in. If you don't, like, I remember this like vividly in high school. Teacher told me, a history teacher, she goes, what is it that, how would you know, like, if you're a good leader or not? And I said, well, for instance, if it makes sense to me, I go, if I'm in my hood, I could tell you where's the best places to do things or whatever, get things or whatnot. I go, but if I'm in somebody else's hood, I'm going to listen to them because they know things more than I do. Right. And I'm going to have to listen in. So if I want, and if, you know, if that knowledge helped me out and stuff, then I'm going to keep doing those same things. You know, it's good to take a step back and be able to just, you know, shut the fuck up and listen and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to shut the fuck up though.
To a lot of people. You know? I was fortunate enough to be the middle child and I had to listen all the time. So listening is like one of my superpower.
Good.
But yeah, leadership is not taught at school, man. Leadership is not taught at school. It's taught through experience. It's taught through like, if you wanted to like grow and stuff like that, is everything, because it teaches you a lot of things, but mainly to remain humble, even when you're leading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, like, you know, you're not an expert in this area of neighborhood. Why, you know?
Like, I'm not going to lead somebody in.
I'm not going to lead in there because it doesn't make any sense. It's like that with every area of your life. If you remain humble as a leader, you're able to grow and then you can inspire others. Because at the end of the day, one thing is like, we're not an expert in every area. We're not an expert. If we master shit in our career, we are expert there. We have the confidence to lead people through there. But if you've been through like 3 divorces, God forbid, I'm not just saying, you know.
Sure, why are you digging in my past?
No. But it's like, you're not an expert at giving advice because you haven't mastered that yet, you know, until you figure out what works for you and what doesn't. But being humble and taking advice from people that have successful relationship, have successful marriages would be the best thing to do. But we stay stagnant of like, no, I'm a leader because I'm doing X, Y, and Z, or because this is my title. When in reality, you don't know everything. And if you keep with that mentality, it's going to keep you stagnant. For example, I had this client recently and she came to me. She came for a business. And what
was the type of business that she ran?
She is, she's in the medical field. She's going to be a coach for doctors. That's going to blow up too, because I see how that's going to be beneficial for a lot of doctors and nurses. It's mainly the same thing what I'm doing, but she's kind of doing it for the medical field, putting systems in place, understanding all of that stuff. So I know that's going to blow up because it's needed. But she was there for me. She was there for me so I can teach her something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And at the end of the day, she was also there to teach me something. And if I didn't stay humble and listen, I would have never grasped that information that it was needed at that moment in my life, and which is in spirituality. And it's like, oh, okay, she's here for her career, but she's also here for me, because in my spiritual journey, in my life at the current moment, is I need this information. So if I would have just put my guard up, like, no, we're not going to have these type of conversations, you know, and I would have never led her to that conversation, then what's the point? Like, you know, at the end of the day, as much as you lead, you also have to be led. Yeah. And a lot of people have a hard time with that because it's like we have the narrative of I know. The more you tell yourself I know, you stop your growth. You stunt your growth.
Mm-hmm. And shit, I know I need to know more now. Shit, like, is that how good I know? Stop
learning because we are curious creatures. We are curious since we were born. You know, why a 1-year-old, a toddler, is just learning how to crawl, learning how to walk? It is because he's curious. He's like, wait, I did it one time. Let me do it again. And it's the same thing for us. The moment that we stop that, like that curiosity, then we stop our life. We stop everything. We stay there, content. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to. I feel like our society and our culture is just like, we are people pleaser. But besides that, like, we want to please everybody else, that we stop our shit because it's like, let me stop my growth right here, or let me just not look at it.
You're good there, you know, and
because based on what society has telling you, but in reality, they want to keep you there.
That's what they want. Exactly. Yeah. That's very well put, because I kind of want to have those conversations when I go to, I'm gonna do like some public speaking at high school, and I kind of want to tell them, I'm like, hey guys, like, you know, Like
Amazing.
some people are meant, like they want you here, they want to keep you here, and if they do that, they succeed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's you know, I'm not gonna get through to all of y'all. Like I know this. This is not like I'm not gonna gas myself up that everybody's gonna be like, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm like, no, like it's not gonna be a thing.
Right.
But you know, whatever. Like hopefully you find your lane after this conversation. At least look for your lane. You know, because like shit, like I always have thoughts and conversations where like with myself that like you know, like I had met a friend where she knows every fucking song in the world, but she ain't know like her ABCs or some shit. Like she said, like she had an issue with her dad. And I go, I could see it through your dad's perspective. He says that you know every fucking song in the book, but you don't know how to add 2 + 2. And she was like, yeah, I had that issue. And I go, yeah, like, but it's like, you know,
it's the narratives that we give ourselves.
Also, it's like, you know, the conformity of how everybody learns.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was, you know, if they would have taught her how to do whatever she had to do through music, that'll be a thing for her. It'll spark that up for her, you know. So that was kind of things like I learned, like, you know, everybody learns different. Everybody is it visually, artistically, through music.
You will have less disagreements once you understand that, because you understand that everyone learns differently. Everyone has a different experience. Everyone has a different perspective. So instead of like, I guess, getting defensive and understanding like, yo, it's okay to disagree. It's okay to agree to disagree. Like, let me hear your perspective. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. However, this is my perspective. And then we come to an agreement.
We get somewhere with it,
you know what I mean? But I feel like that's the hard part. Like people want to always be heard and want to always be right. Yeah. When in reality, it's all about experiences and perspectives.
For sure. And both people could be right in the same argument.
They can.
Like you were saying that, and it kind of like, damn, I hope I don't want to lose it because it was really good. Oh no, because like with your coaching. So with your coaching, like with your business, with Elevated Culture, right?
Yeah.
So how do you like try to teach people that are trying to learn, and you can see that they're learning differently? Like how do you make it work for
every
them?
client is different?
That's what I'm saying. So like that's interesting to see. Like what was like one situation where, you know, you see this person's not getting it this way. I'm like, how did you shift or whatnot?
I don't take anything personal. And I think that's when people realize that. It's like, okay, I hear you, I see you, I feel you. I'm gonna give you my perspective because that's what you paid me for. I'm confident in what I can provide for you. And at the end of the day, it's not up to me. It's not my business. I'm here to help you. If you don't want to take it, that's on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't have a hard time because I don't take anything personally. Like I'm gonna give you my perspective, and I'm gonna always be respectful. For sure. I'm always be kind. So if you're getting defensive about a situation that I'm giving you my perspective on, then it's just like, hey.
Nah, for sure. So like,
and I never had like a disagreement like that. Maybe with like one of my clients' leaders in their team. I used to love it because it was just like he would go back and forth with me. I'm like, hey, listen, we good, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not here to I'm helping the business grow. Like, I'm here to make sure that everybody's good, and I'm gonna be here to understand you. But if you over here figuring about what I'm giving you and providing, then I'm not for everybody. That's okay with me.
Which is okay, exactly. It's just like it's okay if not everybody likes an episode here. It's okay. Like that's okay. I'm okay. Like I've always never been on that time that to be able to go, word, you don't like my shit? You're blocked. Fuck that. Like you can't do that. Everything is just like cool. And exactly. Also is like 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 being humble with me, and also what's the word? At least you're confident in what you're doing. Yeah. At least you have your confidence in what you're doing, and then be able to like maybe if they have some feedback, being able to take that feedback and see if it sees fit for you.
We need feedback
for sure.
Don't get me wrong. Feedback is needed for anything, because if you're running a business, again, it's like something that you're not seeing. You're seeing it from the outside in. And I always ask for feedback, and I'm like, and that's how you grow. That's how you able to pivot, because it's in that situation, in that experience, it's like, okay, I'm not doing that again based on the feedback that I heard. Now, the advice that I probably heard is like, okay, now I can take it to the next level because now I'm aware of it and now I'm able to change it. But when you put that ego in there, you're not gonna learn. It's like, okay, take the feedback, take the criticism, and keep growing.
Yeah, keep growing.
And that's how you go.
Gotta keep moving forward.
Momentum.
All fucking time, every time. So like, with your business, what's the goals that you have for your business?
So I want to know. I'm going to.
Culture. There you
I'm
go.
going to.
I was learning how to do that too. I go, I will, more than like, you know, it's an I will thing, or like.
I'm going to dominate the tri-state area around here, Jersey, any New York, Philly, Delaware, all of those stuff, because I feel like from where I came from, not coaches, business coaches, you know, it's not like this industry is not much. There's not much coaches, business coaches around here. And I have the opportunity and experience going through, you know, being a minority and coming from being able to give the opportunity to people and have these tools in my community. Why not? And at the end of the day, I always have the mentality of like, if I can win, so can you. And if they can do it, I can too.
For sure.
So,
that's dope. Cause like, I feel like, you know, you're kind of talking about like what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because, like again, talking with the kids is like, I feel like it's the perfect time to talk to them because we're on the like in the ground floor with things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's all good, it's all set up. We have all this stuff. I go, but yo, we're like 2 months into like releasing stuff. They can see, hey, yo, we're at this level right here, but we're gonna elevate it because we want to make it happen for us, and we could show, you know, from here that it can go to another place, and y'all can do it too.
Yeah,
it's just that being able to be self-aware. At what point in your time are you gonna be self-aware of being able to push yourself for what you want?
Yeah,
you know, that
goes with everybody. Everybody has a different rock bottom. Like, you know, when they say like you gotta hit rock bottom in order to make a change in your life, is because somebody has to, like, pain is part of life. But is how we perceive it, right?
Sure.
Like, and we stay in that emotional state for a long time. When you go through pain, is like, that's a rock bottom. I need to make a change because the way that life is going right now, you know. But how long do you stay in that state, and how long? Whenever you're ready, everybody's ready in their own thing. That's why I feel like that was the biggest challenge for me. I growing, like, understanding the type of knowledge and reading books, because I'm like excited, like, oh my God, like I want everyone to like know this stuff, and like, you know, and I felt like I was being pushy at one point. I was aware of that now. I'm like, oh, okay, they're not ready to receive that message. That's okay. And it's teaching me about patience. That
really helped me learn shit too, yo. Because I used to be able to, because like you said, I'm seeing people from my perspective among them. I go, yo, you're amazing at this. Why can't you do that? You know, why? You're amazing at this.
I'm seeing the potential in everyone, literally.
But then you're not honing in on yourself. So that was the shift that I needed to make. Like, my rock bottom felt great because I felt good.
Yeah.
I felt good there. I said, yo, I'm physically healthy, spiritually healthy, mentally healthy, and I feel okay.
Yeah.
And I'm down here. I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Cool. All right. So I got to do something with this shit. I got to do something with this shit. And it feels, and this is what feels great. Like, every time I'm coming over here, I'm fucking excited.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where this is going, but that shit makes me happy.
Yeah. And that's called faith. You got faith that it's gonna go somewhere, you know?
Everything starts with hope.
Faith, hope and belief. And it's all in us. And it's just like, whenever we're ready to receive that, we're gonna be able to make changes. And that's it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I care for everyone. I care for their mental health as much as their physical as well. But whenever they're ready to elevate, elevate.
Elevate the culture.
they will be ready. And that goes in business too. Like, you know, I'm targeting people that are ready to make that change so I can provide. Because if I go ahead and say, I want to target every business owner, small business owner, because I have the best tools, right? But I can give you all the best tools, and if you're not ready to receive that message, it's a waste of time.
It's a moot point.
You know?
For sure.
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. When you hit that pinnacle in your life and you're like, I gotta make something. I gotta make some changes. Then that tool is gonna come to hand. It's gonna make sense to you now, because then you're in that situation. You're trying to get out from that situation.
For sure. Like, I could just only talk about life experiences because, like I said, I was happy-go-lucky before, like wandering aimlessly, then I figured out like, oh shit, like my purpose is this. Like I got to be able to bring my people up while I'm bringing myself up at the same time. I got to show people it's able to be done.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, yo, like whatever, have like whatever talents and stuff. And I leaned into whatever talents I had, but I never like fully committed to it. So learning how to commit to something was like the best thing I ever did. Yeah. So I committed to this shit. And like I said, keep growing with it, keep going. Like, okay, first I was like, yo, we don't need this right now. Like, like in the beginning, I was just like, yo, like, let's just have people talk. People gonna just like the conversation. And then like, shout out to Steve-O for this. He was like, yo, bro, we got to make this shit sound good, look good, and be able to, just
and you
look
guys
good,
work each other out. Like, it works out.
Exactly. Like having that partnership, I'm grateful for it, because being able to have people that like, the first person I ask say, to do this with me, that shit don't happen to people, because God knows if I would ask somebody else first and they said no, and then I'd be like, I could have been like, you know what? It ain't right for now. I'll do it some other time.
Right.
Because that's how that was my mentality. That's like, it'll come. And I'm like, nah, I got to make it happen now. Like
it always take that one person to help, uplift, and I think that's what we're in this world to be, and to uplift others. Like that's we got one life to live. Why? Like, if I had an encounter with you, it will always be to make sure that I uplift some way, somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just, I can probably be that change for them, and they could probably make that change for somebody else. It's just a domino effect, It's just the same and negative. I can, instead of uplifting you, I can bash you. And now you're going to do the same thing to the other person, because hurt people. Exactly. And that's just because that's the energy realm they're in.
Yeah, and then you was talking about my divorces, and I was like,
I would not put that up on you. No,
I was like, I'm on blast now, and she was like,
I would not put that on you. No.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'll keep bringing dumb shit up. I had to laugh. I'm sorry. I'm like, damn, she's too serious. Fuck. Now I'm kidding.
That's
it's good. It's good. It's dope. So then like, I'm excited for your journey and shit, because like, you're growing at real time. I'm growing real time and stuff.
Yeah.
You and you have like a webinar coming out June 7th, right?
Yep, June 7th.
I'm fucking 7:30. Plugged in for that.
Yes. Again, I want to be able to give back some way, somehow. Like, yes, I'm in business, and I understand that this, obviously we're in business for making a return on investment and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the way that I can show that I'm valuable for other people is by giving information, because information is needed some way, somehow. How do they know they need a business coach when they don't know what information that they should be looking for? Sure. So if I put myself and give webinars and give this context that they're seeing, like, damn, I am in that current situation. I do identify myself as a person that needs a coach based on the information that she provided and the results that I provided. Then it's easier for them to make that decision. But I started thinking, I'm like, yo, how people are gonna know that I'm a business coach? What solution and what situation they're going through in their business for them to make a change? They don't know that. So I'm gonna provide information for everyone. So like, even if they don't need me at the moment, they are aware of this situation that can possibly happen. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Nah, for sure. Like we need information. Like, if you go and you're like,
knowledge is needed.
Knowledge is needed. And if you're if you think you're too good for it, then like, like if you're like, come on, like you're playing the fool now, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're not.
You're in the wrong room.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got to be able to get something from somebody. Like I love just being able to talk about whatever things I'm doing or whatever, listening to other people what they're doing to see like, okay, you're progressing. I go on. I'm like, I'm invested in your journey too. I can't wait to see what else you got going for like yourself and for us. Because shit, it's good. It's good for people to feel proud of you and stuff.
Yeah, and every client, I swear, like every client that I've had is like, I see where that company is going. I see their potential, because it's like we all in it, like, and I'm also gonna align with people that have similar core values as me, because if not, then I'm not going to be able to see your potential. I'm not going to see what's your intentions. But everyone that I come across as that I have as a client, it's like, damn, if you vision that, I can vision it. You can make this shit grow. Let me give you the tools to help you. At the end of the day, that's your lane. That's what you're going to be good at, and keep going.
Fuck it. Let's excel.
Hey.
We're out here. Yo, Ceci. Yo, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a pleasure having you here. Can't wait to see where you at in the next time we're on this path again and shit. We cross up again. And then if you want to say anything else before we jump out.
No, I want to appreciate and thank you for honestly bringing me back and share my knowledge, my information. And I hope that it helps people.
Yo, you out here helping mad people. Exactly. We're out here talking me through my divorces, yeah.
Oh my God, that's not true.
Exactly.
Jesus.
But I'm mindful.
No,
they're
not
not real.
divorces.
They're not real.
He's gonna be aware.
I'm very aware.
And
Don't
you better
want
be a good man.
Exactly. Amazing. I have to be.
Okay.
Exactly. Every time. You gotta be inspiring, uplifting to not only the people.
No, I'm talking about relationship
too. Absolutely. I'll be taking
Good.
care of mine.
You do that.
I will. Yo, guys, we out here in the Let's Excel
Thank
show.
you.
Take care of you and yours as well. All right, guys. Peace out.